Hi, I'm Gloria Strode and welcome to Straightforward. Today we are going to have an awesome visit with our special friend and State Senator Ed Harbison of the 15th Senatorial District. Welcome, Senator.
Well, thank you so much, Gloria, and I'm really glad to be here with you.
Well, I tell you, I was at an event with Edgar Champagne over the weekend, and Al Haynes was there, who's also a radio personality like yourself from back in the day. And I told him my biggest claim to fame was being the sidekick to you and Edgar Champagne on Magic Talk.
Yeah, and we did a great job, didn't
we? We did a great job, and the citizens really enjoyed that platform because they could call in and bring up issues, and then you could share information on whatever the bills that passed, and people had questions, or if you needed input from the citizens, they could call before you went back to the Senate and voted on different things.
That's right. Right. I thought it was a good mix, good combination. We would always get together and talk about topical issues that really was conducive to the heartstring of the people in the community. You talk about the issues of where they are, the table issues that they talk about in the morning, and where we're going, whether it's the black community or the community as a whole. And I thought we touched on a good
and we did, but long before I became that sidekick for about 10 years, you and Edgar were doing Magic Talk heart to heart, and you had everyone just engaged in that for a very long time. And so, believe it or not, for those that might be young, because we have a whole new generation, you were actually the anchor here at NBC.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then you had a big afro.
Yeah.
So you were a credible news person.
Leave the afro alone, I tell you. But we did have a good time.
Right.
Borden Black was the news director at the time, if I remember, and my co-anchor was Ann Fidel.
Really?
Young lady, a little blonde lady. I believe she's in Texas now, but nice lady. And I want to say after 6 months, we won the Pacemaker Award for AP.
Really?
It was really.
So what is AP for?
Associated Press.
Associated Press. So that's big.
That's right.
That is big.
That's right. Because the other one at the time, before they went extinct, like the Great Buffalo, was UPI.
Okay.
United Press International.
Okay. So we're having a little history here. And so you went from TV, and then you have radio. And then you're always in public relations.
Right. What happened was, I remember the former senator from the 15th. At first it was Congressman Sanford Bishop. Then it was Gary Parker. I'm sorry, Gary Parker first. Who asked me to consider it, and after a while I wisely said no. And secondly, after Congress opened up with some new seats, Representative Bishop, congressional man at the time, and he said, look, I want to do that, I'm leaving, why don't you? So I ran, and by the grace of God, I won. Well,
and that's because you had also served, and that's what I try to tell the young people. You know, you can't start always at the top. You have to start here and work your way and sit at the feet of people like yourself. I consider it an honor to just even, like I told Al Haynes, just to be your sidekick for 10 years. I mean, I'm a full-grown woman, a college graduate, but just to learn from the people that know the business.
And take it to another level.
And take it to another level. But that's what you also did in terms of being a leader, an elected official. You started with the school board. And the people got to know you. You advocated for them and their children, you know, always advocating for veterans because you are a veteran yourself. But that is how you build relationships in the community.
And it takes time, but and it should, and it should, because you need to sort of know what the nerve of the community is from the citizenry. And sometimes you're not always right, but you have to be wise enough to say when you're wrong.
Exactly.
And admit it openly. It's not, but people will couch down and double down on being wrong, and I think that's not a good civic way to go.
It's not a good civic attitude.
I just think it's just not a good attitude.
No, and then if you
find... people can see that.
Sure they can. And even if you disagree on an issue, it doesn't mean that you have to be enemies. You don't have to be adversaries. It's just that you might want chocolate ice cream today, and I might want butter pecan.
That's right.
And tomorrow we both might want strawberry.
Absolutely.
Right. And so you have just been a great role model, not just for me, but, you know, for others. Very approachable. Willing to teach at all levels. And the thing that people like about you, and I hear this everywhere I go, whatever the event, you don't do the big I's or little U's. If we're an event, the people that's serving, you make your way around to speak to those individuals.
Yeah.
Or if it's the VIPs in the room, you're speaking to everybody.
You gotta
and
do
the
that.
homeless.
Yes,
The homeless veterans know you.
Yes.
And that's a conversation that I had with some of our friends from the VA. I was like, you know, they wait for the senator outside the post office.
And then it's an honor for me to serve our veterans. And I wanted to mention the Georgia Military Veterans Hall of Fame. And the reason I wanted to do that is because we have a young lady that was inducted. Her name was Pat Liddell.
Really?
And she was inducted to the Georgia Military Veterans Hall of Fame. The reason I'm saying that, it's open to everybody.
Really?
You got some real heroes in the state of Georgia, in the city of Columbus, who Silver Star, Bronze Star, but it's not just that. It is for people also who have served veterans, who have advanced the call, who calls for the infantry museum to be built, and just all those things that will help veterans, homeless veterans, and those kind of things. Men and women who really deserve to be there, and they should explore it. It's open. It's not some big deal that you have to be prejudiced about. That is, they're going to not like you unless you won the Medal of Honor or something like that.
Right.
It's not like that at all.
Right. So
Paul Longrear founded it, and Colonel Smith, and those two guys are working it. I was inducted in 14, so that's a blessing.
But a lot of the newcomers didn't understand that you were a Marine.
Yeah.
You went to Vietnam on several tours, and then even with all of that, before you were an elected official, you continued to serve the veterans. Anything that you knew that could help veterans, then, you know, you were there offering yourself. Yeah.
And well, you know what? The reason that is with me to serve like that, and I was always told, you don't have to brag about everything. You know, and I know the late Eddie.
Sergeant Major Eddie Roberts, he used to get on you about, you can't do everything in secret, Chief. He would say, you got to tell the people what you're doing. Right. Well, what we're going to do, Senator, take our first break, go to our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
We'll be right back after word from some of our sponsors. Straightforward is brought to you by Chalk by Quincy introduces Excellence Redefined, timepieces of the finest technology, luxury, and class with tons of style at chalklifestyle.com. Renal Associates, LLC, a team of physicians dedicated to excellent kidney care with 5 convenient locations to serve you. Stark Avenue, Columbus, Bradley Park, Columbus, Lafayette Parkway, LaGrange, East Burkhalter Avenue, Buena Vista, and Springs Street in Warm Springs. The Framing Factory and Art Gallery, specializing in quality art and framing for all your needs. Original etchings, limited editions, and prints. Call Carlton Dickey today at 706-324-3823 or visit the Art Gallery at 1325 17th Street in Columbus.
Walmart's reason for supporting Thurgood Marshall College Fund is simple. We like to win. And we have been given a lot of exposure to some incredible talent. And we also believe that it's a part of our responsibility to the community to give back. This is a great opportunity to do both. It's been a wonderful experience for us through the years. We've appreciated our partnership. We believe in return on investment, and we have definitely had a remarkable return.
Come meet your new best friend at Paws Humane.
Adopting from your shelter makes sense. You get a great friend checked by our vet. They're fixed, all shots, microchipped, all ready to make you and your family's life better. 4900 Milton Road, Columbus. Paws Humane.
Come meet your new best friend at Paws Humane.
Welcome back to Straightforward. I am continuing this awesome conversation with my mentor and great friend, State Senator Ed Harbison from the 15th Senatorial District. Senator, you are an excellent teacher and a mentor, and as I was saying when we went to the break, you let me learn this business on your dime. You trusted me. You gave me room to be creative. I could select the guest, and you just trust that I was doing a good job. You let me manage, you know, some of the other business end things, and that helped me to be able to do this. And I want to say publicly, before I did this, I did call you and have a conversation because I honor and respect you. And you were like, go for it. I support you. You supported Pam and, you know, and others because your thing wasn't, this is, and I don't want you to grow. It's like, I'm helping you, and then I want you to grow, and you send us forward.
Yeah, and that's the only way, that's your, look, the way we become immortal, so to speak, is through the good that we do by passing it on. We will not be there to see it, our grandchildren, but the attitude and the gifts we give them, the wisdom we give them, that's the big deal. That's how you grow and thrive, and God blesses you.
And just keep going
all
forward.
All the stars in heaven. So the Abraham factor. Not that I'm at that level,
I understand.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Look, you got to give back. If you don't give back, I think you rob yourself and the community of a great gift. That is, you can see it grow. The fruits that you plant can grow and take root and become great trees of knowledge, wealth, and riches even. So
exactly.
I'm just honored. I got 4 grandchildren, glad to have them, 2 children and 1 granddog.
He thinks he's one of the grandkids.
He's one of them.
Yeah.
But I'm just honored to that. My son works with a fatherhood program. My daughter started her own business.
But they came up in a family of service.
Yes.
And Mrs. Rebecca, your mother, was one of those trailblazers in Montgomery with the civil rights movement. And so we have to teach our kids that you have to earn your place in the community.
Absolutely.
But that started with your mother, who is some kind of woman.
No, Mom, I'm blessed. We're blessed to have her here. Mom is now 93 years old, and she goes up and down. But the bottom line is, she's as constant as she want to be, as love. When you do something for her, every time you bring a glass of water, you move a chair for her, she says thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I mean, and it says, Mom, you don't have
but
to say that
she's
every
reflected
time.
in you because that's where your humbleness comes and your willingness to serve.
That's right.
Because as we know, and I've spoken with her, she worked in that civil rights movement too. Name never made it in the paper, but she was diligent and she was boots on the ground because she wanted a better life for all of her children.
That's right. That's very true. Coming out of Montgomery, Alabama, Mom walked, oh God, I've seen Mom walk when it was so cold that it would really turn your head around. But she walked, as well as a lot of people in Montgomery who, it's no big deal to them because all of them did it almost.
Yes, yeah.
Almost
it
all
was,
the maids, they had it on the line, but they
were fully committed.
They were committed. They had
fully
nothing else
committed.
to lose. They had, and so they walked and they walked. And I remember when they used to have a taxi service, each church would have a station wagon, and they would go around picking up people, and they outlawed that. So what they did is said, well, you got to charge a dime.
Okay.
So they made them charge a dime. They outlawed that. So they just kept getting tighter and
tighter.
Oh
my goodness.
And those people walked and walked, and they kept on walking.
Right, and they didn't give up.
They didn't give up.
And so that's why we're able to be at this table today.
That's right.
And I am so thankful for that. Well, everybody that knows you know you're always working for the veterans. You're a veteran yourself. You serve on many committees and with organizations.
Right.
Some of the things, share with us some of the things that you all put in place at the Capitol that's going to help our veterans.
Sure. Let me start off. We had talked earlier, my committee had talked earlier about having a lottery game, a lotto game for veterans. Well, that didn't pass this year, but what we did more importantly, well, we have a study committee that we're going to study it over the summer and come back January 2000, God willing, 2019, and come on full blast. We're going to engage the DAV, the American Veteran, the American Legion, and all of the organizations that know what the deal is about our veterans. They're going to be at the table. I'm going to consult them, not only in Columbus, but around the entire state.
Right.
And involve those legislators, the governor, who will be new, but will be somebody probably more than likely that I know.
Right.
And we're going to implement something that will primarily benefit veterans. That you got homelessness that's going to be attacked. You got situations with veterans that they're having to come out of their pocket now and partially pay at Milledgeville. So we're going to attack all of those issues and supplement a lot of issues. Right now, the car tags are free. People don't, the fishing license are free. The hunting license are free. I mean, just a lot of things. And you really need to go to that site, the VA site, and check it out. I don't mean the Veterans Administration, United States. I'm talking about Georgia Veterans Affairs.
Okay, see, and a lot of people there are not familiar with that.
That's right.
They need help, but they don't really know where to start.
Right.
And they get overwhelmed sometimes with the red tape, which we used to talk about this on your Magic Talk.
That's right.
Because the red tape, sometimes they get frustrated.
Sure.
And what we would always say is you got to have a paper trail.
You got to.
You have to. And you got to just stay in there and just keep plugging away. But what you just shared was some useful information, because we might have veterans that don't know they can get a free car tag.
That's right.
They need the DD-214 for
That's
that, right?
Driver's license free.
Right, driver's license free.
And listen,
Hunting license
hunting
for those
license
that
free, fishing license free, on and on, all those things are free, and your car tag free. Now
that saves a lot of money. Oh Lord, because now when you go to buy a car, you need to look at what the ad valorem, what the tag is going to cost. Yes.
And if you're a veteran, bingo. Guess what? You don't pay anything. Isn't that a blessing?
It is.
That's
and so, what about the spouses of veterans?
Oh, that too, and we don't want to leave them out, because right now we understand that that is important to look out for the family, because if you leave the family out, the veterans are not going to be happy, male or female.
Exactly.
You know? So, if, for instance, if the veteran's wife is, or the active duty wife is a nurse in Chicago, she comes here, we'll accept those credentials.
Really? So it's not starting that testing thing all over
again. If your child is in school, I passed this bill saying if your child is from Montana, they're in the 11th grade and they have not yet gotten all their papers and the ducks in a row, when they come here, we will put them in the correct grade and let the records catch up.
Yeah, see, I remember you worked on that.
Yes.
A few years ago.
Yes.
That was something that you were a part of, really pushing that forward, because being here in Fort Benning, which we know is one of our largest employers, when the families have to move, when the soldiers have to move, we shouldn't be penalizing our families because they're moving with our soldiers.
It's a big deal.
Right.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal too. For instance, knowing where a veteran should be buried or who is in charge of the remains, we passed that kind of bill and clarified it to make sure that it is clear, so there won't be that kind of squabbling, so to speak, over the remains. And you know as well as I do, that can be one of the biggest things.
Yes, it can.
Lord, people can
yes, Lord. Weddings and funerals will help people show their true colors.
That is true.
Yeah, but it is important to know that. And we have a lot of older veterans. Of course, you're a Vietnam veteran yourself. They have spouses. Some have moved, the veteran has moved to the other side, but the widows are here. And so it's just good to have an advocate like yourself.
And if they're in homes, they say usually it's the lady who outlived the veteran, usually, I'm saying. And if she has not remarried, those ad valorem taxes that were attached to the house until she remarries and or move out of that house is still in place. If it's free, it's free.
Really?
And she does not have to pay.
She's not losing anything.
If it's 100%,
Right.
that is the case as well.
Okay.
Even if the person has been receiving that ad valorem and her spouse deceases, but that continues as long as
she doesn't remarry. That's
correct.
Good information. What we're going to do is take our final break, go to our sponsors, and we'll be right back. We'll be right back after word from some of our sponsors. Straightforward is brought to you by Warrior Outreach. Contact Command Sergeant Major Retired Sam Rhodes or Kathy Rhodes. The Hugel Foundation, enriching the community through Christian music support, community outreach, and the Georgia Through Photography Project. For more information, call B at 706-568-6431. Progressive Funeral Home, family owned and operated since 1952. The George Ford legacy of high standards continues today in the compassionate and professional services provided. A touch of dignity for those who care. Progressive Funeral Home, 4235 St. Mary's Road. Trusted by generations. Best Care, transforming minds and bodies, leading the way in the latest techniques of medical weight loss and wellness. Certified in family medicine and bariatrics, Dr. Blunt is ready to assist in the transformation of your mind and body. Call today, 706-221-6477, or visit bestcarecolumbus.com. East Alabama Endocrinology, educating and caring for those living with diabetes in Alabama and Georgia. 1400 Bradley Lake Boulevard, 3320 Skyway Drive, Suite 602, Opelika. Take charge of diabetes and live your best life. Kia Chambers School Board at Large, the Gold Star Program, paving the path to success through academic achievement, student empowerment, leadership development, and citizenship, encouraging all students to reach for the stars. State Senator Ed Harbison, serving the citizens of Georgia's 15th Senatorial District and on the front line for veterans every day.
History is important because it shows where you're coming from and where you're going. Type 2 diabetes is something that runs in my family, which means I'm at risk. In fact, 1 in 3 American adults are at risk for developing type 2 diabetes. And knowing this, if I do nothing, that family history becomes my family's future. And my family is too important to me for that. Take the risk factor assessment today at AskScreenKnow.com.
And welcome back to Straightforward. I'm continuing this awesome, powerful conversation, great information with my dear friend, State Senator Ed Harbison. So we have the widows, we have some widowers, but usually, as we were saying, traditionally, the older ones, the husband was military. Of course, we do have women in the military as well. But what you're saying, if they had the property tax and they were 100%, right, they were exempt, right, it stays that way as long as they don't get married.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
And so a lot of them, as they get older, they might, sometimes the children don't live here. They live somewhere else.
Right. That's right.
People have their lives, they move away. We move in further away, some of us. But that's important that they know. And you have some other veteran organizations that you're a part of, and you serve multiple counties. Now, how many counties?
It's a total of 7. I have Taylor, Talbot, Macon, Marion, Schley, and Chattahoochee, as well as the southern part of Muskogee.
Really? Wow.
7.
And so you go all the way to Montezuma, Georgia.
60 miles away.
Yes. And then, no, really, that's a lot of geography.
It is.
And some of it is, rural communities.
A lot of it is
it's
rural.
Very agrarian.
I represent the urban and the rural.
And so that means you got to kind of wear 2 hats.
Absolutely.
Because what we need from you here in Columbus is very different than what the people in Talbot County need from you.
One of the things that we're working on right now, and I was on the Senate study committee for that, and that is the hookup, that the internet is not available, broadband bills, it's a big deal now. And we're trying to hook up all of those counties, because if the schools can't get it, the children can't learn when they leave that particular building. So
right.
We're trying to bring the small cells into the play and take it to the darkest, ruralest place that we have in the state and make everybody on the same page, because industry is not going there.
No.
It's going to be a catch-22. They get poorer and poorer. They have a brain drain. The kids will leave home, never come back, because Atlanta is a magnet. 5 million people, half the state's population is located in Atlanta.
Right.
So, the children know that. They need a job, they want to work, and they leave home. And the hospitals, we passed a bill this year that says we will have micro hospitals, because the huge hospitals are closing down because of the population drain, because the affordability or lack thereof. So consequently, the big deal is to make sure we have these kinds of hospitals that can take care of emergencies, and in conjunction with telemedicine, it may have a positive impact in the long run.
Now that's very important, because when you said that, it dawned on me that the people in Talbot County would either have to go to Warm Springs, which is Meriwether County, or they have to come to Muskogee.
Or Sumter County.
Or Sumter, which is Americus. So there is not even a resource other than, whatever the rural doctors are right there in Talbot County.
That's right.
And so for those of us that live in urban areas, we take a lot of things for granted. We can get in the car and go wherever,
That's right.
Urgent care or whatever. So it's very important that you all are thinking forward. In addition to the broadband, traveling, I had jobs traveling, Census Bureau. You get out in some of those areas, the only radio you can hear is Georgia Public Radio. And if you get in a bad spot, like I was one time on the Damascus Road, and I didn't meet Jesus there, down in South Georgia, and I was in this cornfield, there was no reception. Just driving. Right. Who do you call?
That's
right.
That's right.
But another long time ago project you worked on that people take for granted, and we were so proud of it, was those call boxes.
Yes.
Yeah, I want you to share that, because we have a lot of new people here. They don't know how that came to be.
Long time ago, there was no communication along I-185 up to LaGrange, I believe it was.
Right.
And we had a big problem getting that, so we went out and have these solar panels established that contained cell phones. And you could, if it broke down between Columbus Airport and 44 miles up the road, you could go to that and call and get some emergency help. It was a crutch that we needed to get some help if you broke down.
Exactly, because there's nothing out there. It was nothing out there then.
Nowadays, your cell phone.
Yeah, everybody got a cell phone, right?
Or back in that was the young days of the cell phone. It didn't quite. You may be able to go next door or something.
Right.
Didn't quite reach.
Right. But I thought that was very important because Columbus is military, it's transient.
Yes.
A lot of people don't know all of that great information about you. Your reputation and your legacy is sterling. Right. People know that they can reach you, and before we run out of time, I want you to give them your contact information in Atlanta.
Sure.
And of course, Cindy works very hard.
Sure.
I can say that because when I call up, it might be an interruption, but she's very polite and she's very accommodating. So I just want people to know that you are available. They can reach out to you if it's some big issue that they need some assistance with.
Anytime. The local number is 706-687-3899. In Atlanta, it is 404-656-0074. And you can.
And you have a Facebook page.
And I have a Facebook page, and it's interactive. You can leave a message there. So
and then they can.
We appreciate when we look. You can be a better person as long as the people are interacting with you and giving you information about what they need, and what you need to do to sort of correct. And look, if you're wrong, going down the wrong path, I can say, look, if you need something, let me know, and respond as quickly as you can. But if you make one call, you don't connect, don't get mad. Just call back and let somebody know.
Exactly. And then a lot of times with you, and I would tell people this because believe it or not, when they can't find you, some people, because we have that radio relationship and even greater than that, but they'll say, can you tell me how I can reach Ed Harbison? And I'm like, yeah, well, he's in session. And he's here maybe on the weekends, he has, other responsibilities. But like you said, you have to do it more than once. Yeah. You can email, you can call, and then eventually you're going to get with them. Right. That's right. Well, Senator, I thank you so much for taking time to come and share. I thank you for all of your support and your friendship over the years, not just to me, but my family. Whenever you're called upon, you step up. You've been there for the veterans, and I just want you to continue to do that. And we got a lot of big things coming up this year. You and I will be working with the VA.
Well, thank you, and appreciate you and your family. You make a great contribution here. People listen to you. They still talk about you on the radio. So so let's make sure you keep that same path. You're doing a great job.
All right. Well,
appreciate you.
We're going to stay in the fight, as you would say, doing it good
for the neighborhood.
For the neighborhood, and we're just looking for bigger and better things. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. This has been straightforward. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Until next time, be blessed.